All right, same.
Clap.
Clap in three, two, one.
Welcome, one and all, to World in a Jar. We are your hosts, Kyoko and Vale. Our goal is to take a word, concept, or idea and spin it into a story. Be it a character, NPC, group, city, you name it. And thus, those ideas we create become our World in a Jar. Of course, they won't all fit into the same jar, so our selection is constantly growing every week. With many spices to choose from, locations, genres, heroes, villains, and tropes, we hope to give you a jar filled with fun and interesting concepts.
Title music, title music. Chris, leave that in. Just leave it me singing title music, please.
But first, how are you doing, Kyoko?
I'm pretty good. Enjoying some good tea, nice and warm after braving the ice to go to work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we were talking about
the
that.
Midwest is not a fun place to live.
Yeah.
I live here.
We haven't actually gotten that much snow this year, though. We did get rain yesterday, and then the rain froze on the ground by the time I left work at 10 p.m.
Oh no. We got a bunch of snow in like the middle of the month, so like last week and the week before we got like maybe 6-7 inches of snow. Like Chicago got hit really hard. And then we got hit hard down here, and then it was like -20 outside, and
It seems like Chicago and Denver both are huge cities that gets a lot of snow.
oh yeah, Chicago's not called the Windy City for nothing.
Right.
Come here, Mitra. Hi, Mitra. Alright, cat sighting. Sign your bingo cards. I still haven't put those out yet, but sign your bingo cards. But yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had a decent session of therapy today, and I'm just ready to go.
Heck yeah.
I've got an optometrist appointment later today, and I'm kind of looking forward to that and kind of not, because I don't want to know how my body is deteriorating constantly all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, 'tis life.
Right.
At least you know that didn't start when you turned 25.
Yeah, I'm already wearing glasses. I am looking.
But what are we talking about today?
We are This will be a 3-episode series, I believe, where for our first episode is taking a castle town. I don't have our list pulled up. It is castle towns, right?
Yep, castles and castle towns.
All right.
We'll keep the next 2 topics a surprise so you can see what they are in the coming weeks.
But we will be expanding the world each of the other episodes, adding new pieces to the world.
So make sure you watch all of them.
Yeah.
Get the whole story.
Right. It's a trilogy to compete with Star Wars.
Oh god.
Which, according to the different people that you could ask, could mean any of those trilogies and could mean any different level bar.
Mithra, I'm gonna put you back on the ground, okay? I love you, but it's recording time. This is my cinnamon swirl cat, Mithra. She's so sweet. She looks like a fish sometimes because she's so walleye. I love her. Say hi, Mithra. She refuses to look in the camera. Okay, goodbye, baby. No, not the desk. Okay.
Put 2 X's in this cat sighting slot.
Yeah, honestly. So what do we have for inspiration this time?
I don't actually have much inspiration for castle towns. But I did fortunately play Baldur's Gate recently. And that, I mean, in addition to becoming one of my favorite games of all time, like, the scope of getting into the big city was kind of breathtaking,
Mhm.
and all the people all around you like overstimulated me at first. It was like walking into the grocery store without earbuds.
Oh god, the worst.
Neurodivergence can relate. And there was just
Yeah, so what would you say is like what would you say are like the key features of the castle towns in Baldur's Gate?
I think that in Baldur's Gate, how do I put it to words? It's like it has so much stuff contained in this castle, in this city, that it's almost like a world traveling adventure, all confined in one small space. Like you have there are so, like, every single quest culminates in Baldur's Gate. There are new player characters you can take on. Like Minsk is just hilarious. Minsk is my favorite character in Baldur's Gate. That man has one thought in his head, and it's his miniature giant space hamster.
Yo, you know what? That'd be the only thought in my head. You said miniature giant space hamster?
Yeah.
That's the only thought in my head. That's what runs my brain.
It's just, he has this little hamster named Boo that talks to him and only him. And he's
Oh my god.
he's always talking about crushing villainy and putting a boot up the ass of villains, and he's just so...
God, it's like he's getting ratatouille'd by it.
That remains to be
I wanna be
seen, but now
ratatouille'd.
I might not accept any other canon.
I want to be ratatouille'd by a miniature giant space hamster.
And my favorite thing he says is whenever you take him out of your 4-character party, he's pretty much like, okay, I'll stay here, but if your delicates get any holes chewed in them, it's not my fault.
That's amazing. Oh my god. Wow.
And so I wish, because he really steals the show, I wish he came in the party earlier, because he also made me appreciate rangers in a way I never had before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one character you meet in the city. There are hundreds of city characters. There's a wizard that was trying to find an artifact that you find out is actually a cool person.
Ooh.
And he was offering you some huge magical power to bring this person to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot about that quest until I stumbled into his magic shop, and there was this like clone of him that acted more like a robot, like phone operator. Like you call some company and it's like, if you have information about the Night Song, say Night Song. If you're interested in purchasing some of our wares, say shop. If you're here to collect taxes, say taxes.
Oh gosh.
And so that...
But no, it's so fun. That's so fun.
And there's just so much weird stuff. It's like a whole country contained within a city. And I think for castle towns and cities, that's an interesting thing to hone in on, is just the variety and diversity of people within it.
Absolutely, especially in things like video games, because castle towns are hub worlds, so they are in themselves little contained worlds.
Absolutely.
Speaking of little contained worlds that are castle towns, Kingdom Hearts. Literally, Traverse Town, Traverse Town, Twilight Town, places like that, they are castle towns. They're hub worlds. You can find shops there, you can talk to NPCs, you can go around, do little side missions, things like that. Unfortunately, in the case of those towns, they don't feel like living, breathing towns. I mean, kind of in Kingdom Hearts 2, but that's if you know the story of Kingdom Hearts 2, it's a little sketchy. If you know, you know.
I would know, but there's just so much to know about Kingdom Hearts. I can't understand. It's like coming face to face with a great old one, and like there's so much to know and so little my head can contain.
No, that's so valid. There's so much to know about Kingdom Hearts that has just gotten so complicated in like since Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. It's honestly since Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS came out in 2013.
Yeah, they had 3DS games, they had PS Vita games.
Oh, PSP games.
Or
I don't
PSP.
think they had one specifically for the Vita. But they had phone games, they had Nintendo DS games.
Do you have to play the phone
But
games
either
to
way.
understand Kingdom Hearts?
One of them, yeah.
Oh.
Unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately. It's like pivotal to Kingdom Hearts 3. But I don't want to get into it without Buzz here. Buzz is my co-pilot for Kingdom Hearts lore and stuff like that. But either way,
Where I
like Kingdom Hearts was like my first like introduction to what castle towns could be in stories and things like that. Like watching my dad play the first Kingdom Hearts, like running around Twilight Town and stuff like that. Like getting to talk to the Final Fantasy characters that ended up being NPCs. They give you quests, you can go do like side missions. You see the Moogles to go buy stuff.
Oh, there are Moogles in the
You
game?
get to go on like Moogles are your shopkeepers, they're your save points, things like that.
I am the #1 Moogle stan.
I love Moogles. I wish there were chocobos in the
Oh
game.
my!
I love chocobos.
One of my favorite games that has never been talked about. It's called Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's Dungeon. It was on the Wii. It was a mystery dungeon game where you play as a little baby chocobo, and it's just so adorable.
Aww.
And there's like what sells the game for me. It's a pretty fun mystery dungeon game with a lot of Final Fantasy creatures in it, but there's a playground in the game that your little cute baby chocobo, like he can swing on the swing, he can go down the slide, he can seesaw with another random chocobo.
What a little baby! I love it. That like distinctly reminds me of like Lightning Returns, which also good castle towns. But like in Lightning Returns, there's a quest where you can you have to go find like 7 multicolored chocobo, baby like chocobo chicks. So you just get like a rainbow of chocobo chicks, and they're so cute.
Baby chocobos is perhaps
Yeah.
the greatest, like even greater than most Pokemon, greatest cute design I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like in the more HD games, like Final Fantasy X and later, honestly, getting to see those the baby chocobo in like HD, like you get to Final Fantasy 13 and later, and it's like you can see like the individual feathers, and it's amazing. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts Castle Towns, honestly Final Fantasy Castle Towns, really good examples in media of castle towns being places where like the protagonist or like the party, whoever is like the focus of the story, can like spend a lot of time in. Especially in Kingdom Hearts, there's like sections where you go into like the underbelly of Traverse Town, and you get to see like the dark underbelly of the town. You get to see like where some villains hide. There's like a secluded part of the town that like is rumored people should never go there, that it's haunted or whatever. So like lots of stuff can happen in castle towns.
And that's one of the things I love about Baldur's Gate as well, is that there's just like massive world-threatening evil cults in almost unexpected places.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dark underbelly in Baldur's Gate.
Not surprising, it's a D&D game.
Right.
Yeah. I think, like, another thing, because, like, we said this is castles and castle towns. Whenever I think of castles in particular, the only castle that comes to mind for me in media is Castle Oblivion in Kingdom Hearts, and that doesn't count. That's a special... That's a whole situation. I'm not getting into it.
There.
But I also think of, like,
Oh,
in real life, like, Japanese castles or, like, Asian castles versus European castles, and how not only the architecture is different, but also their usages were different.
Mm-hmm. My parents.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off a lot.
My parents keep going to Scotland on vacation, and it's...
Mm-hmm.
I really want to go with them, and they take so many good pictures of, like, real life castle towns, like Edinburgh Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could just go. I wish I could go there and, like, explore real life castles and see how they function. Because that, if you can go to a castle, if you're like one of our European audience, absolutely take inspiration from the real life castles. I will get there.
Yeah.
I will get there one day.
And if you're one of our audience members who lives in Japan or has been to Japan, go to those tourist sites, especially the castles that you can go inside of. Like, you can go inside Hiroshima Castle. Like, it's phenomenal inside. Like, I've never been to, like, Himeji Castle, which is, like, the most iconic castle in Japan, but I want to go so bad. But I don't know, like, I love the architecture of Japanese castles. Like, I went to school when I studied abroad, like, not even a half-hour walk from the Imperial Palace, which you're not allowed to go inside. Like, the Imperial Palace is off limits. But seeing it, gorgeous.
Absolutely. Another good place to take castle inspiration from is, honestly, the castle playground you might have played on as a kid. Did you ever go there? There was, like, one spot in Maryland where there was this castle, there was a playground which, like, one of them was a wooden ship and the other was a wooden castle.
I think, was that in Germantown? I think it might have been in Germantown.
I don't remember.
I went there once with...
I was, like, 8 the last time I played there, and it was a long drive away.
Oh, if it was a long drive away, then I have no idea. I know there was one in Germantown by the, like, sports plex or whatever the
But then again, I wasn't living in G-Burg at 8 years old. So it might have been in Germantown, actually.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know if it's still there, but I went when I was, like, 14 or something, but at, like, the sportsplex in Germantown, and yes, we are dropping locations.
It's not like we live there anymore.
At the sportsplex, there's, honestly, but there's, like, this giant playground. One of them is, like, this huge castle, and the other one's, like, there are multiple, like, small pirate ships, and they have, like, a dragon there. It's really cool. I have pictures. I don't want to drop pictures. I don't want y'all to see what I looked like when I was 14.
Yeah. What is an arbitrarily high number of followers? We'll say 2,000? 2,000
At 2,000 followers on our Twitter.
2,000 followers on Twitter. I will release my middle school video production videos.
At 5,000 followers, I'll post a singing performance I did in high school.
You heard it here.
I don't know if anyone has a singing performance of me from middle school, which is even more cringy.
I have all my videos on my Google Drive, and I almost lost them because they were all stored on a CD, and my CD got scratched up because it was in my backpack all the time for some reason. But yeah, we will release some lost and esoteric footage of myself.
Oh. You heard it here, folks. 2K followers, video from Vale.
Yep.
5K followers, video from Kyoko.
Yep. All right. So,
But yeah,
I think that's a good place to stop the inspirations.
yeah, I think so.
But definitely, if you played on those castle playgrounds, try and remember all the make-believe you were playing on those playgrounds and channel it.
Yeah.
Embrace your inner child. Because that's what D&D is. It's just a make-believe game.
Exactly. I don't know where my dime or my 1 yen coin is, so I have my Aldi quarter.
Your Aldi? Oh, to get the shopping
My
cart.
Aldi quarter. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. I almost knocked my headphones off of my head. God, you know what? All right, heads or tails?
Heads.
It's heads. You get to go first.
All right. Such weird words. Okay. My castle town must be inspired by the words fragrant and self. So fragrant.
And if you feel that those weren't, if you feel that those don't work for just a castle town, you could, or for a castle town in a whole, you could make just a castle. I feel like that's a fair stipulation.
Yeah.
A fair alternative.
I'm thinking fragrant is kind of easy. Maybe, like, I'm not sure if it's very good smelling when people produce spices, because I remember hearing about, like, sriracha sauce smelling so bad in the plants. But
yeah.
let's say this town, like, fragrant, it's easy to say this town manufactures something very nice smelling and just perpetually smells nice. Maybe tea, maybe spices.
Tea?
Yeah.
Tea?
Tea. I would take a drink if I didn't run out of tea after the break.
It's okay. I'll take a drink for both of us.
And then I feel like I have to figure out another word to add on to the word self.
Yeah, like self. The only 2 words that come to mind are or 3 words: self-fulfilling, self-deprecating, and self-confident.
I was thinking self-contained.
Oh, yeah, you see that's a good one. So if you go self-contained, it could be like self-contained production, self-contained issues, things like that.
Right.
Self-contained, like, sickness, like a quarantine or something like that.
I mean, I was talking in the inspirations about a world that feels like an entire country all in one small place.
Yeah.
So I think maybe this land is self-sufficient, which
well, that's a good one.
it lends to their trading credence because they don't have to import and export a lot of goods. So the spices or teas, I gotta pick one. I think I gotta pick one. You know what? Why doesn't this place make both? Why doesn't this place farm both tea and spices?
I mean, lots of spices can be tea. Lots of herbs can be tea.
Yeah, so they work hand in hand together.
Yeah, like some people put turmeric in their tea because it's a cleansing. It's like a body cleanser.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the tea from this place is out of this world, especially because the spices that this place grows led to the tea and also to other recipes. So it's a castle Castletown based on culinary tradition, and there's a lot of farmlands and production and agriculture. It's probably in like the most golden location there possibly could be for resources, going with self-contained. So maybe there's like a mountain that they can mine iron from, so that way they don't have to import very much steel. So everything is going on in this city. It's like the perfect confluence of every kind of resource. And I think the deal with the castle is that it's just the food is so immaculate. Being invited to this castle is a very prestigious honor.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the city?
Yeah, like you could, I don't know, you could do...
The vampires are trying to undermine the garlic fields again.
Oh my god, it's the vampires with the garlic. It's the... Oh god, what else did we have?
You had the
They got the
Paris.
Pirates. Yeah, there's a parasite going around, taking over people.
Ancient parasite making abscesses on everyone. It's just
local hero leaves on his own adventure. The town gets real mad.
Just every single World in a Jar episode in this town.
In this town, absolutely self-contained.
Man, I didn't think we'd have an episode where we take all our jars and just make a suicide drink out of them. Just like putting all the liquids from the World in a Jar fountain into one soda cup.
All right, mix the teas. They got a pirate problem.
Oh yeah, huge pirate problem.
Yeah, they're having a big festival that turns into a rebellion.
Right. There are two paladins. There is the play in which there was a fey person swap, and now the guy that did the person swap wants redemption.
There's a bard that just likes to that gets their bardic inspiration from crass jokes.
There's that paladin that was very bard. Like, the paladin was a stand-up comedian, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was a paladin that did crass jokes.
Yeah.
I think. Perfect.
We need to add an S to our podcast name. Worlds in a Jar.
Worlds in a Jar. To the podcast title, Worlds in a Jar. Yeah, so, like, what do you think could be, like, a central conflict to this very self-sufficient, nicely fragrant town?
I think they are very isolationist. That not many people that want to come into this town get into this town, and like maybe that's part of why eating at the castle is such a prestige, such an esteemed honor, is because they don't really let in, or maybe even just care at all about the world outside of their self-contained, fragrant city.
Yeah. And honestly, that could lead to their downfall, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if a siege happens for too long, or, like, there's conflict inside, like, they could tear themselves apart from the inside out.
Or even if another lord wants the rich resources this town is privy to.
Absolutely.
So that maybe this town would know that and have like, maybe they've hired a mercenary group as the guards.
Maybe, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Like, maybe it could be multiple mercenary groups to handle things above ground, and then a mercenary group to handle, like, the dark underbelly. A mercenary group ready in waiting in case the royalty goes all wacky.
See, I said mercenary group defending a castle town, and my problem is before this podcast, I was reading Berserk. I had rested my elbow on my deluxe volume of Berserk this entire podcast that you guys couldn't see because you can't see my armrests. And I'm like, oh god, what's gonna happen to the mercenaries?
Everything.
Berserk is not for everyone.
It's all self-contained.
Yeah. Berserk is not for everyone, I will say. There are horrendous dark things happening in that manga.
Yeah. So is that a good place you think you could leave off this castle town for right now?
Yeah, I think I'll leave the mercenary group deal maybe for the trope. So are you ready for your words?
Absolutely.
Oh, how cute. Your words are beautiful and courage.
Oh, I love it. All right. Picture this. You have a beautiful... Haha, get it? That's one of my words, huh? You have this really, like, visually stunning kingdom. Like, their scenery is something that, like, really draws people to the kingdom itself.
Absolutely. Tourist trap for hiking and stuff.
Absolutely. I was thinking either, like, it could be, like, a seaside castle. Like, if you think... If anyone who's seen the Disney movie Tangled... The Kingdom of Corona is the actual, like, canon title of the kingdom. It's a gorgeous city. It's a gorgeous city with a gorgeous castle. The fact that their entire city is on this, like, mountainside overlooks what could be, like, a bay or a lake or whatever. Phenomenal. I was thinking something like that, or something that's, like, in the mountains and you can overlook, like, trees and the changing seasons and things like that. It makes me think of, like, you know, cherry blossom season in Japan and things like that, or like a castle in, like, the Appalachian Mountains and you get to see the leaves turn in the fall and things like that.
One of the things I think about
is
Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Lake Tahoe in the mountains is just so gorgeous.
Nice. Yeah, so just, like, very visually stunning. I would also say going alongside beautiful, maybe the castle town and, like, the kingdom itself really focuses on beauty as, like, one of its, like, core virtues. So, like, the clothing is all very beautiful, very well made and things like that. Like, even the peasants are still very well taken care of and things like that, because you don't want to see ugly things in this castle. Like, hygiene is a big thing. People are constantly, like, trading for really good quality fabrics or makeups, perfumes, things like that. And that could just be, like, something that the kingdom is really known for, like their extravagance. Because extravagance can go alongside beauty. And then, like, for courage, I would say, like, maybe this kingdom is well known for its heroes. Like, the heroes that end up coming from this, like, this kingdom, or this castle town, this castle, are very courageous in themselves. Like, maybe the royal family, like, like they come from like a long lineage of heroes who have protected this kingdom for generations on end. And they all, as stories foretell, all fight out of like courage, the goodness of their hearts, wanting to fight for the greater good, things like that.
Oh man, I'm getting inspiration for Larengar in our short campaign.
Yeah, I've noticed every single episode I give you inspiration for something.
I'm like, ooh.
Every single episode.
Ooh, steal Kyoko's idea and use it against Kyoko.
You cannot. I am a bard. What you use against me, I use against you. I have always played a bard with counterspell.
Oh man. But
I don't have a single bard that doesn't know it. Estelle knows it.
Although Chris, our editor, is
or will know it.
He is probably the king of using details against me. Currently him and Crow have the best lines that have ever been spoken in one of our games.
Oh, absolutely. Like Chris asking that Rakshasa for a high five beat out my entire tirade against the hag.
Yeah.
I went on that hag for 5 minutes.
Your two fists, Dem and Ensha.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this hag dementia. I hope this old hag who is using disguised self to be an elf and has a country accent like Safri and Tim, I hope she has her grave plot picked out. I'm gonna put her in the elven elderly home.
And it's funny because Air went into this campaign, he's like, okay, I'm gonna play Khazri as a wise-cracking, snarky motherfucker. And then the first campaign he was in, it was impossible to do, just because the players were just so wacky. And then this campaign, you all do that for him.
It's a mix of Air not having the opportunities to really get good, like, wisecracks for Khazri, and then also Safri just having an attitude.
But yeah, that was a tangent.
Yeah. But yeah, like, this town very much known for extravagance, its beauty, it's just, like, really, like, good environment and things like that. And then also it's, like, courageous heroes and things like that, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes, in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. What are the chances?
And that's where I'm gonna leave it for the TV trope.
I was thinking of Beautiful, and I was wondering if the Fae have anything to do with this place.
Potentially. You know there's glamour bards in there somewhere.
Right.
There have to be. Glamour bards at level 14 get a feature where they just perpetually look hotter. Like, the whole thing. Like, maybe disguise self or even alter self is like, yeah, like enchantment magic could be huge in this kingdom.
I recall in the Spire campaign setting, the class called the Idol, which is like the pop star and artist of the city. One of their base abilities is called Glamour, where they can designate some person and spend 5 minutes making a cocktail of charms to make themselves look like their greatest desires, despite still looking like themselves.
Yeah.
It's like if they like tall people.
Like if you think like love potions and stuff like that.
Oh, it's all going on here.
But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna leave it until the TV trope.
Yeah. Oh man, what if we gave you signature device, the TV trope I picked out first? No, I think I have to re-roll it.
Yeah. But either way, We'll see y'all in the break time.
Yep.
All right. So,
All right.
review time.
Yeah. We are reviewing this fantastic little tea shop that I met on Twitter. So, while I was scrolling through the podcast Twitter, I found the Twitter account. Let me pull it up. Lucky Leaf Teas, and I've got my package right here.
I have mine too. Mine still has all the paper wormies inside.
We thought to do a shout out of Lucky Leaf Teas. I went in and I purchased a couple poignant teas for both me and Kyoko. Kyoko getting the Bard's Ballad, and I got, as we all know, the Wizard's whatchamacallit.
And just to let you all know, this is not sponsored. This is in no way, shape, or form sponsored. We're doing this out of A, our love for tea, and B, out of the kindness of our hearts, so.
Right. And she was Ari was nice enough to pack a couple sample teas as well that I've tried, but they're not the ones I'm reviewing.
I have not.
But they are wonderful. I really loved the which samples do you get? Did you remember?
I actually have them right here. I have the Ranger's Refreshment and the Warlock's Warning.
I also got the Ranger's Refreshment, and I got the Monk's Mindset.
Nice. I'm trying to do the beauty YouTuber thing where I put my hand and it makes the camera focus, and it's not working. But I've now.
Isn't that just to show off their nails?
No, it's so what they do is they like hold up the product. Let me find a random product. I have like a lipstick right here. This is not sponsored by Too Faced, but Too Faced, please bring back your melted metallic lipsticks. But they put like the palm of their hand up, and then they put the product like over the palm of their hand, so the camera focuses on just the product. But yes.
See, I found out my camera doesn't zoom or focus.
Oh, I don't know if mine does. But yes, teas. This is the Bard's Ballad. The Bard's Ballad is a green tea with jasmine and lychee pieces inside. And it is absolutely delicious.
I got the Wizard's whatchamacallit. It's a green tea with cornflower petals, oil of bergamot, and then food grade luster was the interesting detail about the Wizard's whatchamacallit. There are 8 different colors of food luster you can choose, putting in the comments of or the
Choosing
requests
the
on the
type
tea.
you want.
Yeah, they're of the 8 schools of magic. You get to choose which color your wizard specializes in.
What color is yours?
Mine is orange, like a sparkly orange, because I got Transmutation, which is the next wizard character I'm playing. Though I was really heavily considering getting the Necromancy and having a black colored green tea.
For Falazure too.
Yeah, for Falazure.
Yeah, Vale was very kind enough to purchase my tea as well, and we all know I love bards. We got the bard tea, we got the bard mug, we got the bard. It's perfect.
Oh man, I'm clashing my my mug and my tea because I got the wizard tea and I'm rocking the paladin mug.
Well, that means we have to get you the wizard mug next. I'm gonna look on Etsy and find the wizard mug. World's gayest wizard. That's quite the competition.
Right. But yeah, the Wizard's whatchamacallit is very good. I enjoy it a lot. I'm not very good with describing teas. But I enjoy this a lot. So one of the things I would recommend against when brewing this tea, because first I made a whole pot of the tea and then I just made a single cup. The fine strainer that I used kind of took out a lot of the food grade luster. But when I brewed it in the whole pot, it all came in. It was very, very colorful.
Ooh. Yeah,
So when you're doing this tea, share it with some friends. Do a whole pot.
Yeah, that's always a thing to look out for with food grade luster and things like that. Like, it's fine, but sometimes fine strainers like catch it really well because they catch like the little things. And sometimes it can just strain out the luster, unfortunately. Thankfully, for the Bard's Ballad, it's all larger pieces, so I could just brew it in my like little wire strainer. I'm still looking for a teapot. Like, I drink so much tea, I should own a teapot.
When I drank the Ranger's Refreshment, there was like this whole huge
cucumber slice?
Dried cucumber slice, and I was shoving it in my little tiny man-shaped tea strainer. It was kind of funny. And that one was that was a really good tea too. It was, as it said, very refreshing.
The reflection of my light won't really let me show off the Ranger's Refreshment tea, but here it is. You can see some of the cucumber slices in there. And the Warlock one is gorgeous. It has saffron petals in it.
Ooh.
Oh, my lights, please. But there's like these gorgeous spikes of red in the black tea, which is really nice.
I'm gonna want to try all of the teas.
Yeah.
Warlock. What's in the Warlock's Refreshment?
The Warlock's Warning is
Sorry. Warlock's Warning.
It has black tea, safflower petals, real maple syrup, and other natural flavors, which is really cool.
Ooh.
It says Warlock's packs are filled with dark layers and hard-won gifts. So we've blended powerful wood-smoked black teas with maple syrup to give you a taste of the Warlock's balance of risk and reward. According to Tizan, the tiefling mascot of Lucky Leaf Teas. As you can see from the inside of the box, they are gorgeous. I love them.
Yeah. I think I took a picture. I might have posted it on Twitter of the box. If not, I really hope you did.
Oh,
because
I did.
It was a
I
gorgeous
box.
Gorgeous box. Gorgeous box.
Yeah, I took a picture of the box. I took a picture of my little cute handwritten note that I got inside with Tizan on this side. It's so cute. Got Lucky Leaf Teas right here. Here's the website with the QR code. Pause to scan the QR code. Yeah, it's so good. It's all so well thought out. Ari is lovely to interact with on Twitter. So highly suggest it. And they said the Bard's Ballad is one of their favorite teas, and I highly agree. It's so good. For me personally, I don't like jasmine tea because it can be too perfumey a lot of the time. So if I want a floral tasting tea, I typically go for white tea or oolong. I don't go all the way to jasmine. And I also don't like fruit flavors in my tea unless it's a fruit syrup mixed in, stuff like that. But this is so refreshing. It doesn't have that super perfumey taste to it. The lychee isn't overpowering. And just the fact that it's base green tea is so good.
Yeah, so I think we're ready to give it. I'm gonna say 5 out of 5 Ryan Reynolds.
I'm gonna say 6 out of 5 Ryan Reynolds.
I'm gonna say 7 out of 5 Ryan
This
Reynolds.
gets 10 out of 5 Ryan Reynolds. Chris, make the make the insert.
have one Ryan Reynolds at a time float down up across the screen like a credits roll.
Just have him like scroll across the screen. Chris, you're learning Unity. Make something in Unity.
Chris, make a video game about Ryan Reynolds.
But
That's
either
what I
way,
think of him.
this review has been like 14 minutes long. Very much highly recommend Lucky Leaf Teas.
Highly recommend.
Check them out on Twitter. I need to pull up. Hang on. They're not the most recent person we replied to. Yep, you can find them on Twitter at Lucky Leaf Teas. You can also find them on their website, luckyleafteas.com. So yeah, check them out, and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
All right, well, back from the break. It's
Yeah.
TV trope time.
All right. Who gets the first one?
Would you like heads or tails?
I'll take tails this time.
Tails.
Damn it. Oh, this would have worked so well for you.
What is it?
The trope is he who fights monsters.
Well, what does your self-sufficient town do about that?
So, a brief summary of the trope. Something has happened to our fallen hero. His village was destroyed, his friends were killed, his puppy roasted on an open spit, his bike was stolen, whatever. All that matters is it's personal, and he feels that the law just isn't suitable enough, or has become corrupt and ignorant to be of any use to him in settling the matter. He may justify his actions by claiming it's justice he's after, not vengeance, but anyone with half a brain can easily see he's out for revenge. Oh, that's screaming guts. I have to not make guts. Oh my god. So this guy is part of the mercenary company that's defending this town.
Yeah.
This guy is part of the...
Hi, Aster.
Or go on.
I said we got another cat.
Cat sighting. Mark it off a third time.
This is Aster.
Oh yeah, I gotta ask you what. I gotta ask you what character traits I've gotta hone in on for Aster at some point.
Yeah,
Since
we
he's
can always
becoming
do
an
that.
NPC.
We can always do that like after, like later tonight, whatever, anytime really.
Yeah.
But this is
But-
Aster. Yeah, just go on.
This hero has seen the dark underbelly of the city, which
Rats for the rat hole.
fragrant and self. Yeah, the rat hole.
The Chicago rat hole.
He's peered into the dark Chicago rat hole and seen
Oh my
a
God.
void. Chicago's fragrant in a different way, though, I hear.
Yeah, Chicago does not smell good in the summer. It smells better than New York City, but it does not smell good in the summer.
So something bad had to happen to him, and the mercenary company would do nothing about it.
maybe he was like a tea farmer or something like that, and like maybe like the town mafia that the government just wants to ignore like came and like seized his land or something, or like maybe bandits came through and his farm isn't like the best producing farm, so they just didn't really care. And like maybe the bandits like ravaged his farm or something like that. Or maybe even like maybe like a drought came in and the city didn't get to every farm for drought prevention.
There also has to be a monstrous aspect to this. I think he was a tea farmer, but went into the mercenary company because there might have been some famous hero that started this mercenary company. His exploits are legendary, and so being one of the citizens that this mercenary company is now hired to protect, wanted to go into the business to protect it. And I definitely have to make him an NPC. I just keep having ideas for player characters on this podcast, I feel. I don't know if that idea is justified or not, but this is an NPC. He is in need of help from the party, where his family's farm was ruined by some big monster. Most of his family died, and the mercenaries would not grant him any leave to reconcile it or slay the monster, and so now he's gone rogue.
It sort of reminds me of like good inspiration you could pull for this one could be like first campaign of Critical Role with the Strongjaw clan taking over Western.
Yeah.
And like how they met Reginald in the fields and stuff like that, and then Reginald ended up being killed. Things like that. So it could be like
a
Orc clan or a Goliath clan, stuff like that. Standard quote unquote D&D.
I love the idea of humble orc farmers, these big beefy guys and girls, and they tend to the lands, and they're just such nice people. Like
they're having a good time.
Yeah. I've always got to put in the weird out there races into my game and make them very good and nice.
Vale loves Knowles, everybody.
I am inclined to play like my characters are just Muppets. I play Muppets as characters.
The exact opposite of me. I come up with like theatrical beings.
Hey, what are the Muppets but theatrical beings?
I mean, they are theatrical beings, but like still. I come up with like your anime characters, but like your wholesome anime characters.
Right.
I want to be there for their friends.
I started watching Delicious in Dungeon. That's on Netflix, and I'm stealing my friend's Netflix for it.
Don't
that
tell
Pokemon
Netflix.
Concierge. Netflix can come for me. I've got so many friends with Netflix, they will not track me down.
Valid.
Netflix don't have me, but do sponsor me.
But yeah, so like this tea farmer NPC just gets his whole world like destroyed, essentially.
Oh man, I brought up Delicious in Dungeon, and now I'm getting inspiration for this place because the whole anime is about it's like the subplot. It looks like I've only watched the first episode. The subplot is finding a hoard of riches underneath the world and becoming like the lord of the underworld. But also, these characters are so motivated by eating. They're so motivated by food. And since this is a fragrant land that makes spices and teas and very delicious foods, there could be a dungeon underneath this world full of tasty, tasty monsters.
The most delicious slime you've ever met.
No, in the first episode, they cook a slime.
Oh no! What a role reversal. Typically the slime cooks you.
Yeah. And then, so, he who fights monsters, he is coming for revenge for his lost family, and he starts to see the darker side of the city. I don't want to just go with oppressed people, but I kind of want to spin it into capitalism, where the government just cares about the flow of money and trade within the city.
I mean, you could, if you wanted to go that way, you could spin it as, like, from the government's reasoning, is that if they cared about every little thing, it would slow down how everything ran. And with how self-sufficient and self-contained everything in the kingdom is, they just can't care about everything.
Yeah, since...
Like, they have to cut their losses somewhere.
Right, and that comes with his family. And many others, as he realizes, as he's undertaking this mission.
Exactly, especially depending on how big this castle town is. They could be out in the outskirts of the kingdom, of the castle town. They could be like the furthest away fields, things like that, more prone to getting attacked, but also more prone to being forgotten by the government.
His twist is that the upper echelons of the mercenary company are werewolves.
Ooh, the werewolves attacked.
The werewolves attacked his family. And this is a twist that he doesn't know going into this town. Or with the PCs coming into this town. And of course, the PCs are not going to have an easy time coming into this town, since they're isolationist. They don't really take on many outsiders.
Like, unless the PCs got, like, invited in for something.
Right. And so the werewolves ransacked his ancestral home, and I think the werewolves they're not like turning the werewolf alignment when they transform, but it's like they do have sacrifices or something they need to do to maintain their sapience while in werewolf form.
Yeah. Or else they fully fall to lycanthropy.
Right. And so the monsters he's fighting and coming at for revenge are these werewolves.
Or like maybe it's like even like a secret hit inside like these mercenary groups. Ooh, my cat almost just knocked everything down.
So maybe the werewolves killed his family to see if it would bring him more commitment, because they were thinking of inviting him to these upper echelons. And so it was an evil move to see if he could fully commit, or if it would drive him away from his duties.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. And for the sake of time, I could definitely go on, but I do have obligations, so we got to get through your stuff too.
Yeah.
So you ready for your trope?
Absolutely.
This is an interesting one. Dismotivation. The first quote is from The first quote is from the movie Dodgeball. I
The
found
only
that if you
quote
have a
I ever fucking know from that movie is if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
yeah,
That's the
then
only
also
thing I
if you
know
can
about the dodgeball movies.
it was a very fun movie. I don't remember the most about it, but this quote is, "I found that if you have a goal, you might not reach it, but if you don't have one, then you are never disappointed."
Yeah, true.
Dismotivation is when a character actively avoids doing anything that might get them towards their goal in life. This could be getting ahead in a relationship, getting promotion on the job, or succeeding in some lifelong endeavor. They feel that working at maintaining the personal status quo is much better than working at getting somewhere, whether because of risk aversion, laziness, or anxiety.
I can work with
Of
that.
course, they just may be genuinely happy where they are and see no reason to change a life that they are satisfied with.
Yeah, I can definitely work with that. So like applying that to the entire Castletown kingdom, whatever, the way that they're going about beauty, especially with extravagance, that is very unsustainable. Like there is a limit to the products you can own, to what you can barter for, to like there's a limit to like how long your clothing lasts, how long your like makeup products last, and things like that. Extravagance can only give you so much happiness in life, really, in my opinion. But maybe it's that like the people in this town, especially like middle upper class, the royalty, things like that, they're just like, oh, there's nothing wrong with this extravagance and things like that, like why would we change? Why would we like try to introduce something more sustainable, try to introduce something more all-inclusive, things like that? And that's really like, maybe that's shutting out like lower class individuals in the kingdom, people who just don't have the means to keep sustaining the extravagance. So sorry, Chris just sent me a message that made me laugh really. I told Chris I knocked my headphones off in the middle of recording, and he just said, "I'll bass boost it." Chris, please don't. Either way, so like the like people in the Castletown who are just like, oh, like why would we change? We're happy, and things haven't run out yet. So they're like, they know that things will run out. They know that things are unsustainable, but they're just like, why do we change now? There's no point in changing right now. Like, why don't we just handle the problem when the problem arrives, essentially?
The textiles are made of a non-renewable resource.
Yeah, exactly.
My God. What if they are hunting like a monster to extinction because of their very lush, comfortable hides?
You know, that so makes me think of like how people hunt like minks and stuff like that for mink fur, or how some places have run like certain species of rabbits to extinction because rabbit fur is really good, or like how we hunted buffalo here in the US because buffalo fur was so good going through the Rockies and things like that. Like what if this is like a winter, like they're in like a colder area of like this world and they're hunting like owl bears and things like that, like owl bears or like
owl bear
wolves.
Down beds.
Yeah. like what if fur or like good pelt is like part of their like extravagance, because you know fur, real fur, super expensive, non-renewable resource, and it's a sign of like luxury and royalty and things like that.
Absolutely.
Or like even if it's like a dye for textiles and things like that, like you know how like in like historically purple is a color of royalty because purple is one of the most expensive dyes you can get. So it could be something like that, and the people of this kingdom are just like, we have it, we can still get it, like why is it an issue?
Yeah. I think it's also an interesting note too, is that people come into this city and even the peasants are dressed so well.
Yeah, like even the peasants have like good fur options for like their bedding, for everything.
So, because that's what's available to them is all the nice stuff.
Yeah, but like maybe the peasants, or even like, you know, people that like are actively doing the trading, they see these more sustainable options that people are more willing to buy too because it's not as expensive. And they like, the peasants are just like, hey, we gotta start changing stuff, like come on, this isn't gonna work in the long run anymore, like we're going to run out of stuff. Like the party could come in and see that like maybe they have a ranger in their party or like a druid, and they start noticing that like, hey, there's not a lot of wildlife around here. Like this might be like a heavily forested area, like where they're walking through to get to like the gates of the town, but they're just like, there are little to no animals around, but there are so many traps.
Yeah.
Or like we've seen like a bunch of hunters, like animal hunters, as we're traveling towards town, and like they've given us directions on where to go. And like the party could come in and they like, you know, they go shopping, they see like how extravagant and nice and beautiful everything is. And they have to talk, they talk to a shopkeeper who's just like, hey, is there, like, sorry to like put this on you, but like you asked me about like more like about cheaper options for things, and that's an issue we're having here in town. And like, it's, this shopkeeper is showing courage speaking up about it because no one else will. And like,
so,
yeah.
So the shopkeeper is pretty much the quest giver, and he's the one displaying the courage, I guess the nobility are supposed to be displaying. And then the nobility are going through the dismotivation trope, where they appreciate the status quo and won't do anything to change it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the shopkeeper could be like, you know, we've been told all of these stories about like what courage means and like what we do, and I need to look up something. Hang on, I want to get this quote right. That there's like a quote that's just like, having courage is not having fear. Something like that. Having courage is not about not being scared. It's something like that. But it's like, this shopkeeper is just like, it's, you know, all of the, like, our royalty that we've been told stories about, like, acts of courage. And, like, standing up for what we believe in, standing up for the people, standing up for the greater good. This is my courage. This is where I show courage. Is admitting that there's an issue and wanting to fix it when no one else will admit it. When no one else wants that change. Courage is knowing when change is needed and acting upon it.
Because what happens when this place runs out of its precious resource?
Exactly.
It's I think of like the gold mining era, and there were these boom towns that were highly profitable. So many people were getting rich mining and panning for the gold and whatnot. And then when the gold ran out, ghost town.
Yeah, when the gold ran out, they had nothing. Or like, even like if you think of like some places where they've built like dams and canals and things like that for better resources at the time, and then the water ran out.
Yeah.
Like, looking at you, Las Vegas, and most of California, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just like things are only so good while you have resources.
I hate to bring in a political figure to this, but it makes me remember H Bomber Guy's video, where someone I won't name says, if the sea levels are rising, just sell your coastal house and move. And then H Bomber Guy goes, sell their houses to who? Aquaman? So that's like, that would be part of the noble philosophy as well. Is like, well, if the resources run dry here, everyone can just move where there are more resources and sell their houses here.
Where are the resources?
Who wants to live in a place without resources?
But yeah, so like, I guess like that would be like the main conflict, and then a quest that the party could be given. Another quest they could be given could be from nobility asking, hey, go find us more resources.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, hey, go hunt for us. Tell us where more resources are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you have a ranger? Oh, you have a druid? Find these things for us. We'll pay you pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's a good place to leave my jar.
Yeah, this seems like a good place to seal up these jars and put them on the market. If you like this show or need any ideas, you can find us on Twitter at Worlds and Jars, or email us at worldinajar1@gmail.com. Do you have any recommendations before we go, Kyoko?
Speaking of castle towns and places that are running out of resources, when I was younger, I really liked this book series called The Land of Elyon, Elyon, by Patrick Carman. It's technically a 4-book series with a prequel as well. So in total 5 books. I've read the first book when I was in 6th grade. I borrowed it from my 6th grade reading teacher. I read the entire thing in one night. I loved it. It's about like this girl named Alexa. She goes to this town with her dad, and the big thing about these castle towns is the castle towns and the roads between them are completely walled. They're walled from the outside world to keep them protected. And there's a big thing in the main castle town where like there's like this seedy underbelly of like these escaped prisoners that are trying to come in and like take over the town, and like there's this whole magic system that has been like sealed away from the world because like the cities are so scared of the outside world. So Alexa's the one that really like comes in, she figures out like what this magic system was. She's like breaking all these rules because she's just so curious, like, why is everything walled? Like, why are we not allowed to go outside, basically?
Yeah.
And it's just so good. I'll like share stuff about it on Twitter, but like, yeah, The Land of Elyon by Patrick Carman. Amazing series.
And then there's a RPG setting, a 5e setting that I've been very excited about. I haven't seen very many updates recently, but the designer of this setting lives in Maryland, so he has said on Twitter. It's called Fat Magic, a food-based setting for 5e with many food-based subclasses. Like there's the Path of the Cold Brute Barbarian that is styled after coffee, and their rages are like coffee benders. And there's the Pasta Mancer Wizard too. I really enjoyed that design.
That's amazing.
and it's a very. I think it's still up on Kickstarter for pre-order while they're still working on it, and so it's definitely something I have pledged money to, especially because I mentioned when he was talking. I don't remember what he was talking about, but I brought up Maryland, and they were like, "Yeah, I love Maryland so much. I made Ye Old Bay a place in my setting."
Oh my god, yes.
So that's definitely, speaking about food-based or food-derived settlements, I think it's a very cool setting to check out.
Oh yeah, that sounds awesome.
So yeah, do something good for yourself, and we will see you next week. This episode was edited by Chris at Chris Rogers VO on Twitter. Go check him out, and thank you for TV Tropes for hosting a whole plethora of ideas.
And thank you to Lucky Leaf Teas for the delicious tea.
Yeah, thank you, Lucky Leaf, Ari, and Tissan.
All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye.
Yep. Bye.